Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is In The Mix, episode 138 of our Isle of Man series. Happy Wednesday, wherever in the world you're watching from. I hope you're having a great day. This episode might be a little bit later than our usual ones just because I've had a hell of a day and haven't really got my shit together. But we do have a massive quarterfinal tie in the Europa League to bring you in today's episode. We're going to do both legs. There is an FA Cup tie sandwiched in between those. I'll play that off screen and let you guys know the result. And even though the thumbnail's probably already given away who we're playing, we'll jump in and have a look at the draw and how it all went. So, first and foremost, before we jump into the Europa League stuff, in the league itself, we're currently sitting in 7th spot, which I think is a Europa Conference League position. As things currently stand, the main outstanding item is that Southampton are in the Champions League, and sitting in 12th, which is why our top 7 spots aren't showing as European football. It does mean 28 games played, 15 wins, 5 draws and 8 defeats in that time, plus 11 goal difference on 50 points. Level on points with Tottenham and Arsenal, but they both have superior goal differences. Tottenham on 14 and Arsenal on 25. If you think back to last season, one of the big issues we had was when we won games, we'd win by like 1 goal or 2 goals. When the top kind of 6 sides win games, they score 3 or 4. And that's really kind of evident in the difference between goal differences that we've seen so far this season. Of course, in yesterday's episode, we played Leeds, lost 3-0, a heavy defeat, which was quite disappointing. But then turned it around a little bit with a bit of a tactical tweak, a 3-1 victory over Norwich, and then a very good 3-0 performance against a very good Southampton team. Lind, Rivera and Bungu getting amongst the goals there. Rivera's goal takes him to 20 for the season, which is fantastic to see. And Lind has scored a couple now in the last few weeks. Maybe moving him to a deep line playmaker on support has helped him get in the box a little bit more and find some finishing, which is great to see. And then a Europa League second knockout round tie. Ajax are going to be the opponents, the Dutch champions. They have a very strong team. And as always, some fantastic young wonder kid players coming through. Hikam Haji is one we're going to keep an eye on. He might be someone that we maybe go in for at the end of this season. He's a number 10. He's a creative, advanced playmaker. We might look to bring him across, depending on how he plays against us. 43 appearances so far in his Ajax career, 11 goals as well. Very impressive for a player who's only 18 years of age. He's got a massive minimum release fee clause, £87 million, so it will be quite a bit to bring him across, but I think he's a talent. And I wonder if he's related to this other Haji that they've got. They've got Hikam and Mohammed Haji. I don't think they're related. They just both happen to be 18. Not the only one to keep coming through. They've also got this guy, Henry Jaeger. He won't play against us because he's on loan at AC Milan. But full Danish international, 20 years of age. He looks to be quite the solid prospect as well. So still Ajax, even though we are 16 years into the future now, very much creating good young talent. And they've got a very young squad. 90% of that squad is over or underneath the age of 23. The highest value of which is Sergio Smorenborg, Dutch forward. 22 years of age, 4.5-star current ability and potential. He looks very tidy. 68 goals and 116 appearances for Ajax. Very impressive from the advanced forward. We'll have to keep an eye on him. In other ties across the Europa League, Liverpool is still in it, representing England as well. Southampton have dropped into it as well after finishing 3rd in their Champions League group. Dortmund, the big ones we have to keep an eye on here. Monaco, also huge. Bayer Leverkusen, Red Bull Leipzig, Napoli, Marseille, Porto. A good chunk of very strong teams. And I'm just realising, I might have said in the intro it was a quarterfinal tie. It's not. It's a second knockout round tie, which makes sense. We go from 16 to 8 to 4 to 2. And then maybe to a champion if everything goes our way. Now, as far as the squad's concerned, only David Cambridge and Larry Ortiz have a bit of a knock, which has been a bit of a struggle. Trying to get Ortiz back to full fitness. Of course, letting go to Elliot Bloor, who's kind of come back and bitten us a little bit in terms of overall squad depth and being able to bring players on when we're in scenarios where we're chasing a goal or looking to find an equaliser or something like that. It hasn't quite worked out for us. As far as the tactics go, we've made the full transition across to the tactical tweaks that we spoke about in the last episode, where we kind of made some changes based on wanting to keep possession a little bit more than we had been. So we've got this positive style with shorter passing associated with it. We've gone attacking as kind of our default mentality in the last couple of weeks. And then we've also got this counter-attacking mentality, which we're going to employ for this first leg away to Ajax as well. All of them still relatively positive structures. The main change really is instead of using just a flat vertical tiki-taka formation, we're kind of using vertical tiki-taka instructions in possession and then bringing back some gig and press and instructions when we're out of possession. If you have played much of the game this year, all of this will look relatively familiar. And even now, as I'm looking at it, we might jam this up to extremely urgent and just lift the intensity a little bit for this big fixture. Magic of editing, though, when you jump forward and look at the 2 lineups for the Ajax game. All right, I'll go through ours first. We're going with Mancini in goal, Mokhtar and Esteban as a defensive partnership, Carlos Andre and Fontana as the fullbacks. Pretty consistent back four we've had for the majority of the season, which has been great. Lind and Henry, Lind playing a little bit further forward now alongside Henry, which has been an interesting dynamic between the two of them. Barbosa will play at the 10. Jimmy Wintle plays an inside forward on the left-hand side with Ortiz out injured, and Peacock will play on the right. Rivera leads the line up top, our leading scorer for the season so far, and also our leading scorer in the Europa League with only 1 goal, but still. Actually, that's really interesting. We've had quite a few different players chip in with goals throughout the campaign. Ajax playing a very similar 4-2-3-1. They have got the deeper anchor in midfield. Nick de Boom, phenomenal name. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. Looks solid, but not super spectacular. Can play centre-back as well. Has been at Ajax for a good few seasons now. Their captain at the back here is Souleymane Hamada, 32 years of age. Started his career at AZ Alkmaar, was there for quite a few seasons, went to PSG for a year, Real Sociedad, or Real San Sebastian, as they are represented in the game. And then a couple of years at Dortmund before making his return to Ajax in 2032, where he's been for a few seasons now. Again, nothing super spectacular, nothing to be super fearful of, but they do have some good players. They've got 2 Groningen, one at left back, one at left wing. Are they in any way related? No, it doesn't look like it. Again, just coincidence. These Dutch names just repeating quite a bit. Very good crossing ability for Rob Groningen, the right winger, or left winger, I should say. Good natural fitness, good pace and agility as well. Over on the other side, they've got Brandon Van Dam. Again, a fantastic name. 2.5-star current ability, 3-star potential. Also looks good. Good, decent dribbling, good pace, good agility, but nothing too crazy. And then Smorenberg's the one that we have to keep an eye on up top. I think he's definitely going to be the one to watch. £51 million is current value. He's got a release clause. He doesn't have a release clause. That's crazy. And he's on 68k a week. Probably their highest earner in the squad. He'll play just ahead of Rob de Vries, 22-year-old Dutch number 10. Looks solid. 17 passing, 16 dribbling, 17 teamwork. Jumps out at you mentally. Physically, not anything super scary. But again, this is going to be a side that plays a very good brand of football. It's Ajax, it's in their DNA, and it's a good challenge for us to kind of gauge where we're at against other teams in Europe, not just within our division. Passionately, we're going to say I know we're underdogs, but go out there and give these fans a performance to cheer for, and I can passionately tell Rivera up top that I've got faith in him as well, just to give him a little bit of positive feedback. He did hit that 20-goal mark in the last game against Southampton. It'd be good if he could kick on and try and get towards 30 in the last few weeks of the season. We are into March now as well. Like, if we do make it through to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, it'll be interesting to see how I give you guys those games throughout the rest of the season. It might mean there's a little bonus Saturday episode if we continue to get through the competition, but we'll see how that goes. Lynn Shear, deep free kick, first one of the game, and it's Rob Groningen, 11th goal of the season for him. Set piece scenario, not great. I think we might need to adjust our set pieces. It looked like we left Barbosa further forward. He is good out of the air. We want to try and get him back and have either Jimmy Winter, who's a little bit shorter, or Rivera leading the line up top from those set pieces. Got to throw in here again. It's Rob Groningen again. Squares it up to Smorenberg, who finds a decent finish, 19th goal of the season. We're 2-0 down already against Ajax, and it really felt like it came out of nowhere. There were no highlights really the first 30 minutes. And just this last little spell, they have definitely got on top. We're going to switch to positive just for the last 10 minutes or so. And I'm going to demand more just to try and give everyone some focus through to half-time. Got a deep free kick again. Lynn Shear looks towards back post, and Grono again with a deep header again. He's the danger man from these set-piece scenarios, obviously. I guess we start trying to play and look for an away goal. Being a 2-leg tie, we do have the opportunity to try and recover something at home, but we would need to try and minimise the amount of goals that they're going to get here in the second half. Lynn Shear's been busy from set piece. He's found Smorenberg there, who's miles offside. That one will get pulled back. He looked well offside, and they said fractionally in the commentary, but it wasn't. It was at least a couple of metres. Through the end of the first half now, 4 shots, 2 on target, 43% possession for Ajax. 6 shots thrown on target, 57% possession for us. We're going to aggressively say, show me something else in the second half, and we're also going to switch it up, go to our attacking instructions, just to push everyone forward a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. Again, as always, we give it 15 minutes or so, and then we'll have a look at form, fitness. There's a couple of 6.4s, 6.5s I can already see from match ratings. We might want to try and make those subs early just to try and get some fresh legs and some new ideas out there on the park. 15 minutes through this half, we're going to hit pause. We're right on the 60-minute mark. What a good pause that was. A couple of players struggling. Jimmy Winter not playing particularly well. We're going to bring on Phillips as an inside forward on that side. Carlos Andre also struggling. Might leave him out there, and we'll swap Fontana for Berber instead. And then we were going to passionately say, I have faith in you, get out there, make a difference. We're also going to use Old Faithful or Get Creative shout. If we pull 1 goal back, right, after going 2-0 down, if we get 1 goal and can make this 2-1 and give us something to work with in the second leg, we'll be in a good position. We really don't want to have to be chasing multiple goal margins in the second leg of this tie. It's going to be a big challenge because I think they'll set up quite defensively in the second leg. Barbosa out to Peacock now. Best 1v1 player, gets past one fullback. Can he square up to Rivera? It's the simplest of tap-ins. Wonderful assist from Neil Peacock. Next time I complain about wingers shooting from wide areas, remind me of that goal that we've just scored where he got to the byline, squared it back up to the 6-yard box, the simplest of tap-ins for our little Mexican international. And it's a great run from Peacock. Holds the ball incredibly well, squares it back up. That's exactly what you want from a winger. 9 times out of 10, he probably shoots at the keeper in that scenario, but he finds the square ball back across and gives us something to work with about 30 minutes remaining. I've got a wide free kick here, Lynn Shear to take. Seller hit in with a good header away. Now Phillips flicks it on for Rivera. Now this might be a good opportunity for a counter-attack. We find Barbosa on the right-hand side. He can go past a man and shut down well, and Lind plays it to Rivera. Now Peacock, wide right area. It wasn't far away. Lovely little triangle there to find Peacock's overlapping run in that second phase, but just couldn't get the strike on target. Got 15 minutes remaining, so I'm going to pause just a little bit earlier than I normally would. It's Carlos Andre again struggling, but I think we want to try and get someone out there that can maybe make a difference in terms of goals. And you know what? We're going to go with Gary Lester. He's going to come on for David Lind. Hasn't played that much during the second half of this season. We'll tell him we've got faith. And then we're also going to use a demand more shout with about 10 minutes remaining. Try and get everyone some focus. See if we can't push on and try and find an equalising goal. We have been much better in the second half. We've got a deep throw in here with about 6 minutes remaining. Ball with Carlos Andre. Ball across to Phillips. Can he square it up to Peacock? Oh, the first shot is to close down well. And now Smorenberg comes forward for Ajax. Got to be wary on the counter. They've got a man far post. Just stand him up, boys. Just slow down the cross. It's a good ball in and a good header away from Esteban. Carlos Eduardo on the overlap for Ajax. Now Lynn Shear, who's been quite busy. Definitely pulling the strings in midfield. Cuts back to him now and he gets a strike away, thankfully, over the crossbar. Mancini was in good position though. We're going to get into extra time here. Can I use one more get creative shout before the game's over? 4 minutes of additional time. We're through most of that now. The referee calls full time. I shouldn't complain too much because we're 2-1 down. We did bring ourselves back into the game, but Ajax in the end, 11 shots, 4 on target, 49% possession, 14 shots, 7 on target, 51% of the ball for Isle of Man. Rivera's goal could be very important for the tie itself. We'd really, if we win 1-0 in the reverse leg, we'll go through on away goals. Assertively, I'm going to say unlucky boys, and everyone's responded positively, which is great. We want to keep that morale up going into the next couple of games. And Kevin Armran, who I think is one of their defenders, he is. He's a centre-back, 18-year-old. Looks decent, nothing super spectacular jumping out, but he gets the Man of the Match award in that one. And Dashbosh Yup Stam was there checking out a few of the players, including Elmedi Mokhtar. I forgot Elmedi Mokhtar playing against his old club. He joined us from Atletico Madrid, but he was at Ajax for a few seasons before that. Hopefully getting a few of the family down to watch him. Now, that does mean we've got 3 days before an FA Cup tie against Swansea. I am going to rotate a little bit for that one. Swansea are doing all right in the Championship so far this season, but we'll try and rotate. We'll try and rest players as well before the return leg at the Isle of Man Stadium. Thankfully, it doesn't look like any injuries or knocks to worry about for right now, but I'm sure that could change depending on this FA Cup tie. Magic of editing, though, we're going to jump forward to the second leg against Ajax now. All right, just like that, we are a week ahead. Now, we did get knocked out of the FA Cup, but whatever, that's fine. We're about the Europa League this season. And thankfully, everyone has gotten through the week relatively unscathed. We did rotate quite a bit. Very few of I don't think any of the players that you can see here started that last fixture. Does mean just the one change. Larry Ortiz comes back in on the left-hand side. Jimmy Winter drops down to the bench. Otherwise, it's pretty close to a full-strength lineup. I have made some adjustments to the stubs. I've dropped Scott Phillips off for Jimmy Winter to sit on there. Osorio's there for Barbosa in case he struggles a little bit for creativity. And I've also put Medjidou on the bench in place of Berber because Carlos Andre, the last couple of games from memory, hasn't really got the best average ratings. We might take him off if he's not playing particularly well. Looking at Ajax, they've had a couple of changes as well. Nothing massive. Amrine was the player that got the Man of the Match award last time out, but they've made a couple of other adjustments. Smorenberg's moved to the right-hand side for Van der Plas to start up top. He's going to wear the captain's armband as well. 23-year-old Dutch under-21 international. Looks all right. Nothing spectacular. He's a deep line forward, so they might be employing a little bit of a different strategy away from home. 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. Nothing super scary about him. They have brought in Hisham Haji. This will be a good scouting exercise for us. 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential, 18 years of age. If he's tearing us apart on the counter, we might try and sign him and bring him across. And the other man we'll have a look at is Lynn Shear in midfield, who did a lot of the damage, to be honest. Inverted winger by trade. They played him as, I think, a Mazzala in midfield. Good dribbling, good technique. His set-piece delivery was very good in the previous game. All right, physical attributes as well. 4-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. He looks a fairly solid player. We are going to passionately tell everyone we owe Ajax after what happened in our last game. That's worked well. I'm also going to passionately try again, telling Rivera that we need him to find the back of the net. He did get one goal in the first leg, which has kind of given us something to work with. But we need to find the back of the net early to deal with any nerves that I might get, that the players might get, and effectively put ourselves on the front foot for qualification for the quarterfinals. Barbosa's picked up a knock early on. It's the only real item of note in the first 15 to 20 minutes so far. Carlos Andres also picked up a yellow. Lynn with a free kick, wide area. Barbosa with the flick on header. 8th goal of the season for the Brazilian number 10. And he has done very well. We mentioned it in the previous game. We need to sort out our set piece routine so that he's either back to defend or getting forward, because he's a tall boy and he is pretty decent out of the air as well. And Romer, the Ajax keeper, got a big chunk of it, but couldn't prevent that one from going in. Now, will that mean Ajax are going to change their tact a little bit and come out a little bit further? We are on our attacking mentality. We can maybe switch it up and go counter or something to try and work the space in behind. Ortiz with ball in across to Mokhtar, who's clipped the crossbar as it heads out for the goal kick. We're all over them here from the set pieces. We've also used a demand more shout with about 10 minutes remaining in the half. If we get a second goal here, it's going to change the dynamic going into half-time quite a bit for both sides. De Boom, Amrine, now Van Loon, now Smorenberg did the damage for them in the first game. Wide right area, Henri goes to close him down. Pinballing around again, it falls to Smorenberg and Mancini with a good save. It was a speculative drive, I'd say, from that angle and that distance. Barbosa's also picked up an injury. Thank God we put Osorio on the bench. So he scores a goal and then has to head off the pitch. Tell him we've got faith in him. We do have a corner here. Ortiz to take, wraps that left foot around it, looks towards back stick. Headed away by Amrine, and now Lynn Shear comes forward. This is where we have to be wary on that counter-attack. They got men streaming forward towards the centre, but Lind and Henri combined very well to hold up play and put it out for the throw-in. 3 minutes of additional time to be added on at the end of the first half. It's very tense, but half-time, 11 shots, 8 on target, 50% possession. 3 shots, 3 on target, 50%. The challenge here is, do we want to try and drop off a little bit and maybe invite pressure from them as they look to find an equaliser, or do we want to keep playing as we have done to get us to this point and maybe get a second goal to seal it? I think we'll go after the second goal. I just can't help myself. Assertively, happy with the performance so far. Keep it up. And as we always do, we'll give it 15 minutes and then we'll have a look at form, fitness, whatever else. Mancini's the best player on the park for us, our keeper, which is an interesting one. We haven't seen that many highlights for the Ajax side. Just that one save from the wide area. Ball forward here with Mokhtar. All the way back through to Mancini. Now switch it to the other side. Finds Esteban now. Work it to the fullback. Fontana's got time in front of him and can play it to Peacock. Instead he goes back into Esteban. Does well under a little bit of pressure there. Peacock comes forward, dribbling to the edge of the area and smashing it in from a mile out. What a goal that is. 4th goal of the season for Neil Peacock. And he's struggled a little bit this season. Not struggled, that's not the right word, but he's struggled for fitness is what he's struggled to get. Every time he's played, he's been excellent, and this is a phenomenal goal. Runs effectively 40 yards on his left foot, not his favoured foot, smashes that one into the top right-hand corner. Keeper can do nothing about it, and that might be sufficient for us to get through to the next stage. We're going to look at some subs here as well. Carlos Andres got a knock, so we're going to take him off for Medjugorje. We've already made one change for Laura Barbosa, so I might hold off on that last sub for the last 10 minutes or so, but we will also use a get creative shout after an hour, Old Faithful. Wide free kick, Lynn to take. Deep ball towards Mokhtar back stick, and it was a good header, had a good pace on it, but Romer straight at him. He does well to save and hold. Is the highlight going to continue here? They're looking to send it out left to Smorenberg, who's definitely the danger man. Good overlapping run from Van Loon is found very well by the centre-back. And thankfully, it was a defender's finish. Strike from distance, never looked like challenging the goal at all. Mancini with the resulting goal kick. The highlight continues. Fontana into Henri. Been a bit quiet in the last couple of games, but definitely one of the cooler heads in the side in terms of using the ball. Ball out left now to Ortiz, who, again, making his way back from injury. We probably don't want to try and force him through too much football in this match. Mokhtar with a good header. Ortiz finds Osorio. 2 Colombians combining. Finding Rivera in a good area. I think he's offside, but it was a good off-the-shoulder run and an excellent ball to find him. It's gone to VAR, and yeah, it is. It's going to be pulled back for offside, but an excellent little passage of play from everyone. You can see our match ratings have jumped up quite a bit as well. I think we're starting to take the game by the scruff of the neck a little bit. Wide right area for a throw-in. Lind found by Fontana. Back to Fontana again. Osorio in a good little half space. Back to Fontana. Just keep the ball, boys. Lind finds Fontana on the overlap now. Good angle for the cross. Backstick ball towards Ortiz. It's cleared away. Smorenberg with the long ball forward. Mokhtar will tidy up. Play Medjugorje. Now Henri. Back to Mokhtar again. Just wait for them to commit. Don't overplay it. He's given Mancini a bit of a task, but he brings it down well and plays it out to the right-hand side. Esteban does very well to bring it down in traffic. But Lynn Shear's won the ball back in a good area for Ajax. Looks for the ball out left towards Smorenberg. They're looking for him immediately in transition. Thankfully, the run and drive straight at Mancini, who does well to save and hold. We've got one more sub. We're going to hit pause. And it looks like Rivera's struggling a little bit. We're going to bring on Bungu. And he's been doing quite well in limited appearances. He only seems to get 10-minute spells at the end of games, but he's still chipped in with 3 goals so far since joining in January. We're also going to use our demand more shout. I'd take 2-0 if you had offered it to me before the game, but we are pushing on for another goal. Lind, backstick ball towards Ortiz. Good header. Was always kind of ballooning. Had a lot to do to get back down and on target. Romeo watches it out for the goal kick. 4 minutes of additional time, but Ajax have the ball. Van der Plas finds De Boom. Comes forward now. Henri with a good challenge and sends it out left to Ortiz, who has got pace to burn, can beat a man as well. He's got goal side of the fullback, wide left area, hell of a run, and again, it's just the final finish that lets him down. Did everything perfectly. Romeo saves and holds. Corner now for Ajax. It'll be very late drama. Esteban manages to scramble it away. Hamada comes out. Peacock with an excellent challenge, and he sends Embargo over the top. What can he work from the counter-attack here? It was a good drive, had a lot of pace on it. Just past the far post, though. That would have definitely been the sealer. And the referee calls full time. It's a fantastic second leg performance. That's a proper European mindset, playing those 2 games in 2 different strategies. 19 shots, 14 on target, 49% possession for Isle of Man. 9 shots, 6 on target, 51% of the ball for Ajax. And it's a famous European victory in our first ever knockout game. Passionately, I'm going to say very happy with the result and the way that you played. And then we'll probably jump forward a little bit. We've also got the quarterfinal and semi-final draws to come as well. Other fixtures, Espanyol got through, Dortmund got through convincingly, Southampton got through, Monaco got through, Liverpool convincingly as well, Marseille and Leipzig. The biggest ones to fall, Napoli, Porto, and Bayer Leverkusen, interestingly, not making it through as well. So 3 English sides heading into the quarterfinals, which is always good to see for the coefficient. Neil Peacock gets a man of the match award for that phenomenal goal. Andre's injured. Lil Barbos is injured, but it's not too bad. He's only got a bruised ankle. He probably could have run out the rest of that game. And we're going to give Peacock a little bit of praise. Now, we will jump forward a little bit here because we want to bring you guys the semi-final draw, or the quarterfinal draw and the semi-final draw. I think they're both done at the same time. All right, and here we go. We've got the quarterfinal draw and the semi-final draw. I've hit skip draws, haven't I? All right, thank God I can get back into it. All right, so we're just going to go automatic draw for the quarterfinals here. And there's a couple of big teams in the hat. I think we want to try and avoid Dortmund. Espanyol wouldn't be bad to get. Maybe the best one. Or Liverpool would be tough to get as well. Monaco. So I think we're going to get one of Dortmund or Leipzig. And of course it's Dortmund. Why do I open my mouth? Why do I say these things like we don't want Dortmund? And then of course Sports Interactive listens in on these conversations. I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat. It's a real thing. And we of course draw probably the biggest team left in the competition, Borussia Dortmund. We'll play them away from home first leg and at home in the second leg. So that's our quarterfinal draw sorted. We're also going to have a look at the semi-final draw to see who we might get if we make it through. And then we've got Leipzig or Southampton, which isn't terrible. We have beaten Southampton in the league. Leipzig, I think, probably one of the weakest sides in the final 8. And in the other tie, Liverpool or Monaco will play Espanyol or Olympique Marseille. Now, when are those fixtures scheduled? We will have a look. So I think what we'll do is we're going to come back in tomorrow's episode, do the 2 games against Dortmund, because obviously that's a huge tie. I want to try and bring you guys as much of our European season as we can, particularly because it's our first season in Europe. We don't want to skip any knockout rounds or anything. So we might jump ahead a couple of games, but a good little run here. Blackburn, Newcastle and Fulham, where we could potentially get 9 points in that period. Then we've got Manchester United at home, which is always a challenge. And Arsenal away sandwiches those 2 Dortmund matches. But again, we've been fortunate in the tie that we've got the away leg first. We might have something to work with in the second leg if we can scramble a result at Signal Iduna Park. But you guys will have to tune in tomorrow to check out those results. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed the journey. I'm really enjoying the amount of people that are watching the content day to day. I think we got consistently double figures on all of our videos for the last couple of weeks. So thank you guys who are watching. I do appreciate it a tremendous amount. And thanks again to the other guys that are dropping comments every day as well. I very much appreciate it. Let me know how your saves are going. If you ever have any questions or anything like that, by all means, drop it in the comment section below. If you want to help celebrate beating Ajax in the Europa League knockout rounds, you can drop a like on this video, or you can subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our future videos as they continue to release all the way up to the release of FM21. But more than anything, just thank you for watching. As always, I've been Sean. I'll see you all again in the mixer.